obstacles to choosing a fulfilling career for ourselves can be traced back to our families. For most of human history, the working destiny of every new generation was automatically determined by the preceding generation, and one would become a farmer or a soldier like one's father, or a seamstress or an educator like one's mom. Choices were cruelly restricted, and penalties for deviating from the intended career choice could be severe. Yet, those theoretical freedoms have had the curious effect of hiding from us just how much familiar expectations continue to matter and to restrict the course of our careers. Our parents may no longer have a legal power to block our bank accounts or physically restrain us, but they retain the command over the central tool of psychological manipulation, the threat to withdraw affection in the event that we frustrate their aspirations for us. Love can control us as much as force or the law ever did. Well, to tell us about his journey into a very unusual career for an Indian gentleman and how to stay fit, joining me this evening is Joshua Jesse, one of South Africa's very own wrestlers, otherwise known as Joshua the Bull. Well, Joshua, namaste and welcome to Hindvani. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you. Good evening, everybody.
Thank you for making time to join us. So, let's get started into it. What got you into wrestling? Okay, before we get into the wrestling, what inspired you to start gymming? And when did you start gymming?
Okay, what inspired me to start training is I was looking at bodybuilders when I was a kid.
Right.
I started training from the age of 14.
Okay.
Now, I was a very athletic kid, so I started training to enhance and improve my athletic performance.
Right. But at 14, what inspired you?
Okay, I had a goal to become a professional wrestler.
Okay, so this is while you're in school, you were thinking about wrestling.
Yes. But when I was a kid, I was very active. I was playing sports like rugby, soccer.
Yeah. Okay,
and as I grew older, I started doing powerlifting, kickboxing.
Sure. Okay, it's quite a bit there, Joshua. So what got you into wrestling?
Okay, to answer that question, I was very passionate from the time I was a kid.
Yeah.
I was a wrestling fan, and I will still say I'm a huge wrestling fan.
Right.
Looking up to guys like The Undertaker, Goldberg.
Okay. Yeah. The Rock.
Yes, not to forget him.
Right.
He was an icon of wrestling.
Right. So that's how you got into wrestling.
Yes.
And now, do you have a coach? Are you training yourself?
Right now I'm training myself, but I did have a coach. In the beginning, I was training with guys like Tiger Elephant, Nightmare, etc. Okay,
so what's the training like for a wrestler? It's obviously you're doing bodybuilding. That's to make you stronger. But how do you, is it almost like choreographed stuff? Do you practice the routine that you're going to fight that night, or is it just random?
It's just random. We train very hard in the ring.
Right.
We have to be physically fit all the time.
Right. So there's no eating bad for you. You have to stick to a strict diet, or how's it work?
Basically, you are taking care of yourself.
Right.
You have to eat very well to enhance your performance.
Right.
You have to eat well to improve your health.
Okay.
Basically, I would say there is no special diet.
Okay.
So you're just basically taking care of yourself.
Right. And in terms of getting checked up by the doctor that, everything is okay and you can wrestle, do you actually see a doctor before you wrestle? Or is it just your own health that you're looking after?
It's just my own health I'm looking after in general.
Okay.
But in general, you have to check the doctor to see whether your health is in tip-top condition first.
Right. So I was trying to check some of your videos and try and follow you. I saw you doing a squat of 200 kgs, Joshua, like it's nothing. How do you reach that sort of level?
As I mentioned before, I started training from the age of 14.
Right.
So I built it up slowly.
Right.
Now, to do 200 kilos is not easy because your joints have to get used to it first.
Absolutely.
Build slowly.
Yeah.
Your muscle fibers have to get stronger.
Right.
So I am training for quite a while.
Okay, so your body gets used to it.
Yes, I've been training in the gym from 2006.
Wow, it's a long time to be in gym. Gosh, I guess you're inspiring a lot of other youngsters to start training as well?
Yes, I could say I'm doing that.
Right.
Because somebody did inspire me, so...
You want to pass it on?
Yes.
Okay. So, the name Joshua the Bull, That's your ring name, basically.
Yes.
How did that come about, Joshua the Bull?
Okay, basically, like, as I said, from my background, I played rugby when I was a kid.
Right.
Then when I started training, I started tackling guys.
Okay.
And my aggression in the ring.
So the name came about Joshua the Bull.
Yes.
Okay. Rugby, why didn't you pursue that? Because literally we've got no Indian people playing rugby in South Africa. Or very little. So no one's playing it at national level. I started playing rugby while I was in school. So I played first team rugby. But I never continued outside of school. So why didn't you look at making it a career as well instead of just wrestling?
Okay, when I was a kid now, even though I played rugby, I was playing in primary school.
Right.
But it wasn't like my true passion, like what I would have did compared to wrestling. Okay.
So, just so you know, as Indians, we experience a lot of challenges with eating preferences. So, as a wrestler, how important it is to stick to a diet? Because if you're looking at like the WWE, you got a couple of guys that are looking in good condition, that's wrestling, and then you got a couple of guys that are out of shape, but also wrestling. So, do you have to diet if you want to be a wrestler?
The truth of the matter is that you just basically have to take care of your body because you're putting your body through torture.
Right.
And you're going through things that, some hectic things you're seeing on TV.
Right. It's very strenuous from what I see. How long does it take to recover after each match?
It actually basically depends on how you take care of yourself.
Right. Do you have to take a break after each wrestling match? Do you have to like maybe a 1 or 2 week break before the next match?
Yeah, sometimes it happens. One occasion I wrestled like 2 matches back to back.
Right.
One on today, one tomorrow.
Yeah. And how was the body afterwards?
I'm not gonna lie, it took a while to recover, but thank God I took care of myself during that time, eating well.
Yeah. I guess rest would be important.
Yes, rest is the important part of that whole entire scenario.
Okay. So we'll continue chatting to Joshua the Bull. What was the feeling like at his first wrestling match? And what were some of the fears he had when he first joined the wrestling industry?
Hindi ki sondhi sugandh, Hindvani 91.5 FM.
Do you have family history of diabetes, hypertension, heart attacks, renal problems?
Talking to Joshua the Bull. So Joshua, what was your schooling life like? And did you ever see yourself in the wrestling?
My schooling life now, I was a very skinny kid. I'm not going to lie about that part.
You're not skinny now.
Yes.
Yeah.
And obviously weight training helped me actually gain a lot of muscle mass. I wouldn't say a lot.
Yeah.
It actually enhanced my athletic performance.
Right.
And I was a discus thrower.
Okay. So you were quite sporty when you were in school?
Yes.
Okay. And where did you school?
New Haven Secondary in Chatsworth. Unit 5.
Okay. And prior to that?
I was schooling in Winkelspruit.
Okay. So you grew up on the South Coast. So that's where your rugby started?
Yes.
Okay. And now in primary school, is this where the passion for wrestling started?
It actually started off when I was, as far as I can remember, I think I was like under 5 years old.
Right.
From that age.
Okay. So you watched a lot of WWE?
Yes, I did. And getting inspired by guys like Goldberg and Dwayne Johnson.
Yeah. And obviously, watching Dwayne Johnson's The Rock's career from a wrestler to now a movie star, at any stage are you going to go into acting, Joshua? Would you consider it?
To be honest, I actually do part-time acting.
You do?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know that. So now we're finding out. Well, that's nice, man, that you're getting involved. So you're doing gymming, you're doing wrestling, and you're doing a bit of acting.
Yes, I am.
That's nice to know, Joshua. So what was the feeling like when you had your first wrestling match?
Okay, my first wrestling match, it happened in 2010.
Okay.
Now, it was actually in collaboration of the celebration of the 150 years of the settlement of the Indians in South Africa.
Okay.
So, basically to celebrate the heritage of the Indians,
right.
Wrestling is actually part of our heritage.
Okay.
I had my first wrestling match on the 13th of November, 2010.
Right. Where did it take place?
At the Chatsworth Youth Center.
Okay.
And what a coincidence! In 2005, on the 13th of November, Eddie Guerrero passed on.
Okay.
So I actually debuted on his death anniversary.
Okay.
5 years later.
5 years later.
And I was still in school when I started wrestling.
Okay.
So it was a big thing that time because it was during my metric exams.
Right.
I had to make a plan, juggle a lot of things.
Right.
On a Friday, I'm writing physics paper 1.
Right.
And on a Monday, I'm writing physics paper 2. And on a Saturday, I'm wrestling.
Gosh. Yeah.
And all my buddies, when I went back to school, they would tell me while I was busy wrestling, they were actually studying.
Okay, but you completed your matric, so well done.
That is only through God's grace.
Yeah. So what was the feeling like? I mean, was it nervous getting into your first match?
Yeah, I was very nervous, to be honest. I even had to pray before going out.
Who did you fight in that first match?
Okay, my first match, I was wrestling against a guy named Sergeant Singh.
Yeah, is he still in the wrestling?
No, he actually left a long time ago.
Okay. And who do you belong to? Is there a wrestling federation or?
I actually wrestle for the biggest wrestling federation in Africa, which is called Champions Pro Wrestling.
Yeah.
We're actually nationalized.
Okay.
We're actually on national TV.
As well?
Yes.
Jeez. So have you been on TV as yet, Joshua?
Yes, I've been on TV. I wrestle on TV.
Which channel would that be broadcast?
It was broadcasted on channel 260.
Okay. And how was it? When is it different when there's cameras in your face and you're wrestling?
Basically, I would treat it like people are watching me, which is actually what's happening.
Right.
People are watching me all over.
Right.
And one of my matches were on national TV, where I became the WWP Tag Team Champions.
Oh, so you won that one?
Yes, and I was the first Indian in history with my ex-tag team partner to hold the WWP Tag Team Championship.
Okay, well done, Josh, right? So you're progressing in this wrestling. So what's the next step in wrestling? Can it go overseas or will you still stay local?
My next step to take it international.
Okay. And that's part of the federation. They would also be part of that. So wrestling is quite serious as much as, people might say it's easy and you can learn to do things. Did you have any serious injuries as yet?
I did pick up a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
I injured my ankle, shoulder.
Yeah. Anything broken?
Nothing. Thank God for that.
Yeah. Okay. That will put you out of action for quite a while.
I hurt myself, hurt my shoulder. It took me a while to recover.
Yeah.
So
do you all have a medical team or physio?
We always have medical teams on board just in case anything happens.
Okay.
Because the injuries are bound to happen.
Right. So wrestlers are also role models for kids. Right. What are some of the qualities a good wrestler should have?
Basically, you're a public figure, so people are looking up upon you, looking at you all the time.
Yeah.
So basically be nice to people here and there.
Yeah. Motivate them, I would think.
And I think people are actually looking for motivation.
Right. So encourage them. Have you been to schools, given any talks about wrestling as yet?
To be honest, I've visited schools, but not in the area, out of town.
Out of town, okay. Are people not so keen on wrestling in the Indian community? How's it working out there?
Yeah, to be honest, there are a lot of kids that want to learn how to wrestle.
Right.
They send me messages back and forth.
Yeah. And
that's actually very good to actually see kids that are so interesting to wrestling.
Right.
Because at that age, I was very interested now.
Yeah. And the good thing is you're already in the arena. You're already on the wrestling scene. So you can start, have you started coaching kids or would you be opening up a coaching class?
I was training a few kids.
Yeah.
My best student was Matthew Hammer, the Assassin Hammer. He's from Peter Maritzburg.
Okay.
Right now he's residing in Johannesburg. He's doing quite well.
And you trained him?
Yes, and he actually wrestles better than me.
Hey, well done. Well, obviously the student must become better than the teacher.
That actually makes me quite proud for him to do quite well.
Yeah.
I don't expect a thank you. I expect for you to do better.
To perform.
Yes.
Yeah, but well done to you, Joshua, to getting someone on that sort of level. And what are you doing at the moment? If you're not wrestling, what are you doing?
Okay, right now I work at the Rock Gym and Wellness Center.
Where's
I
that?
run the gym supplement bar. It's actually based in Unit 5 Chatsworth.
Okay, that's the Rock Gym.
Yes, and I work inside the supplement bar.
Okay. How important are supplements when you are wrestling?
The main thing with me is the recovery.
Okay.
Of course, I have to take my protein to actually help me recover after each workout.
Yeah. So, Joshua, getting into wrestling, it's not everybody's cup of tea. Right? It's not the easiest career to go into. What were some of your fears when you first joined the CPW, is it?
Okay, one of my fears were actually getting injured or, wrestling in front of people now.
Yeah. You're conscious of the crowd?
Yes, I'm actually very conscious. And what happens, before I had my first match, now I'm very nervous. I could see the people flocking at the arena.
Yeah.
The first time wrestling. Then as I got over time, it became like first nature.
Yeah, it becomes natural to you.
Yes.
Okay. How's the crowd response for the wrestling? There's a lot of people.
Yes, we get a lot of people.
Yeah.
Like, for example, Wrestle Monster. That's the biggest wrestling federation, the biggest wrestling event on the African continent where we get local versus internationals.
Okay.
So thousands of people from around the country actually flock up to actually see the event.
Yeah.
And we get thousands of people. That's one of the biggest crowds I ever wrestled in front of.
Okay. Sure. And did you ever feel like giving this up at any time? Did it become too much for you?
The truth of the matter is, it did cross my mind where, because of the politics and the pressures of the industry, I wanted to just leave and walk away.
Yeah.
Then one woman, she's actually a radio DJ.
Okay.
She actually told me not to give up.
Right.
She'll actually come and pull me back in the ring if she has to.
Right.
And at that moment, I realized it's not only kids that look up to me. It's actually grown adults.
Right.
And because of people like her I wrestled, I think that's what inspired me.
Right.
She even told me, if she comes to Durban, her priority is actually to come see me.
Right. So that motivated you to stay.
Yes, because of people like her.
Yeah. Okay.
So it actually keeps me motivated at all times in the back of my mind.
Right.
People are actually look up to me, so I have to go wrestle for them.
Okay, Joshua, that's nice to hear that somebody inspired you, especially not even from Durban, from Port Elizabeth, that's listening or watching you or following you. So your fan club is growing, should I say? Yeah? Yes,
I could say that.
Okay. So do you have a mentor, Joshua? Somebody that's outside of your training circle that's keeping you motivated, keeping you grounded?
Okay, to answer that question, I keep in contact with wrestling legend Tiger Elephant.
Okay.
So he's right near me. He's in Shawcross.
Yeah.
So he actually inspires me, motivates me, give me advice about the game.
Okay.
And about life in general.
Right.
And for somebody that wrestles in front of thousands.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you should remember Tiger.
I will touch on that later. I don't remember many Indian wrestlers, but he's one of the ones that I do remember from back in the 80s when they first started off.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll continue chatting to Joshua the Bull. How did his family react to his choice of career? And how has the South African wrestling scene changed?
My name is Shedrack.
We're talking to Joshua the Bull. So, Joshua, what was your theme song when you entered the ring, and do you have any lines to intimidate your opponents?
Okay, right now I play Hindi music.
Right.
Because that is my heritage.
Right.
Because I'm always proud of my heritage, no matter what.
Yes.
And wrestling is always a part of my heritage.
So you keep your culture in that wrestling?
Yes, it's part of my culture.
Okay, Hindi music, that's nice.
Yes.
I like to hear that. And now when you're in the ring, is there any lines that you intimidate your opponent with? Is there any talking before the match?
Generally with me, it's actually much more action.
Right. So it's let the fighting begin. Don't talk.
Yes.
Okay.
My action speaks in the ring.
Yeah, I like to hear that, Joshua. So, Joshua, being Indian, and our parents always want to shield us from pain, how did your family react when you told them you wanted to be a wrestler?
To answer that question, my family gave me good support.
Yeah.
Now, like my family will tell me, if you're passionate about something, you have to chase after it, no matter what.
Yeah.
And what I believe now, God has given you a talent.
Right.
Use the talent to the best of your ability.
Right.
And I also have a lot of support from my spiritual dad, who is Dr. Alan Joseph.
Okay.
So he gives me a lot of support with my wrestling career.
Okay. Okay, that's nice to hear, Joshua. So, did your mom ever be afraid or get scared that you're going to get injured really bad? I mean, you're in matric and you're starting to wrestle. You're doing it during exam time. Did your mom ever say, Joshua, think twice about this?
No, she never say actually anything regarding that.
Yeah.
But because she's always praying for me.
Yeah. Okay.
I think that's one of the things that actually helped me get through it.
Right.
And regarding my mom, the first time she saw me wrestle, I was actually bleeding in front of her.
Gosh, how did she react? Did she scream for you?
No, she had a very good reaction regarding that. Then she got used to seeing me bleed or whatever the case may be.
Right. Have you ever got any teeth knocked out, Joshua?
No. Thank God for that.
You don't want to get to that part. Okay, so you're talking about your mentor. Was it
Tiger Elephant?
Tiger Elephant. So, that's the last of the South African wrestlers I remember was Tiger Elephant.
And he's still living.
I didn't know that. Tarzan Govender.
Tarzan Govender is late right now. He died in the ring.
While wrestling?
Yes.
Okay.
Because getting drop kicks to the chest now, and a few moments later he was dead.
Gosh.
His brother, Richie the Lionheart, Govender, is still living.
Okay.
And we're still in contact with each other.
Okay.
In the beginning of my wrestling career, he actually came in the ring and training with me. Right. And for an old man like that, I'm actually impressed. He's quite agile and quite fit. Okay,
for his age. So, it's nice. I love history. Hearing about these guys that are still alive and still part of your life and that you know them as well. So, you're progressing in your career. So, what changes have you seen in the South African wrestling scene? Is it becoming a bit more popular or is it dying down?
It's actually becoming much more popular because we're actually being broadcasted on social media or on national television.
Yeah.
And we're doing events around the country.
Okay. So lots of traveling involved with the wrestling?
Yes, a lot of traveling. My last match, I traveled to Johannesburg in Yeovil.
Right. And how was that?
We wrestled in front of a Congolese crowd.
Okay.
Congo politicians.
Right.
And Congo crowd members.
Right. And then how was the response?
Basically, it was almost like wrestling out of the country with the amount of foreigners that were there.
Was it a big crowd?
It was quite a big crowd.
Okay. And did you enjoy that one?
I did enjoy it.
Right. And what's coming up for the wrestling scene this year? When's your next match?
I got a lot of things lined up right now.
Yeah.
So you'll see in the media as I'm always there.
Okay. I have seen you in the Rising Sun. Yeah. So, are you ready for the next match, or when can we catch your next match?
You'll see it in the media, or you can see it on my fan page.
What's your fan page? Where do we follow you, Joshua?
You can follow me on Facebook, Joshua the Bull.
Right.
Or you can search on YouTube, Joshua Jesse Chetty.
Okay.
That's my YouTube channel name.
Right.
That is my full name.
Okay, Joshua Jesse
Chetty.
Okay, and then your wrestling name is Joshua the Bull.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Joshua the Bull, thank you for your time this evening and for sharing your experiences with us. I'm sure many of our listeners are inspired having another Indian wrestler that's coming up after the likes of Tiger Elephant and Tarzan Govender. So, Joshua, any last words of motivation for our listeners?
what I would say to our listeners, just whatever you're passionate about, chase after it, because life is short, because you only have one life.
Yes.
And I do believe personally that God has given you a talent.
Yeah.
And you have to use it to the best of your ability no matter what. Now, a lot of people are looking up to people.
Yeah.
A lot of people may be looking up to you without you actually knowing about it.
Yes.
But that actually is true.
Okay.
And people are always looking for role models. They're actually looking for people to take an example, because your story may inspire the next person. Okay. So if you have a dream, just chase after it, because you only have one life to live.
Yeah.
And you have a talent that is hidden inside of you, because the richest place on the earth is actually the graveyard.
Yeah.
Because that's where all the unused talent, the unwritten books.
Yeah.
So it's not actually the banks, it's the graveyard. So don't make the graveyard rich.
Okay. Well, there was some inspiring words from Joshua the Bull. I hope we all are listening to that. Make the best of your one life that you do have. Joshua, all the best from Hindvani for 2023. And we'll be back next week, Thursday, between 7 and 8 p.m. We're closing off this evening with a song from Coach Tahir. And it's Sergeant G. Garaye. Namaste.